The Civil War ripped through Louisiana indiscriminately and still has lasting effects on this state. Now, Bayou Lafourche would not be spared from this bloodshed either, with several battles taking place in the region. In the northern part of Bayou Lafourche was a place known as Georgia Landing, and when Union and Confederate forces met here on October 27, 1862, the resulting battle would be one of the bloodiest in the Lafourche region. U.S. Army Major General Benjamin F. Butler was the commanding Union officer in the Department of the Gulf. He launched an expedition into Bayou Lafourche to get rid of the rebel presence and to ensure that all of the cotton and sugar belonged to the Union. This was also done to establish a sort of a base for future military operations in the area. Butler would instruct his protege, Brigadier General Godfrey Wetzel, to take about 4,000 men to the Lafourche region. Godfrey left Carrollton, which is about 7 miles upriver from New Orleans, and it's now a district in the city, on October 24th. He would go up the Mississippi River with gunboats and then disembark in Donaldsonville, where the river meets the bayou. Once in Donaldsonville, the Army went down the east bank of Bayou Lafourche. The Confederates, under the command of Brigadier General Alfred Mouton, attempted to concentrate just to meet the threat. On the 26th, the Union force marched down Bayou Lafourche 15 miles to Napoleonville, but they were unable to find Confederates that they expected. By October 27th, the Confederates had occupied a position on the bayou above Labadieville. A little more than half the force was on the east bank, while the rest of the men were on the west bank near Georgia Landing. Now, generally, it was without means of concentrating on one side or the other. Godfrey continued his march to Labadieville on the east bank, where he found the enemy in considerable force, entrenched on both sides, with 6 pieces of artillery. Confederate forces would number about 1,400. Godfrey's troops began skirmishing with Confederate positions on the east bank at about 11 o'clock in the morning. Lacking the artillery support of the troops entrenched on the west bank of the bayou, Confederate troops in these positions retired fairly quickly. General Wetzel began crossing his men to the west bank to attack the rebel troops there by means of a floating bridge. For some time, these Confederate troops fought, and they would bring the Union assault to a standstill. However, a lack of artillery ammunition compelled the Confederate forces to abandon these positions also. Now, Confederate troops would retire up the bayou to Labadieville. They were in full retreat at this point. Union losses were 86, including 18 killed and 68 wounded. Confederate losses were estimated at 229, and additionally about 206 Confederates were taken as prisoners of war. The Battle of Georgia Landing was also notable for the role played by African-American soldiers in the Union Army. The 1st and 3rd Louisiana Native Guard regiments, which were composed of black soldiers, played a significant role in this battle. They fought bravely alongside their white counterparts and helped to secure the Union victory. On the 28th, Godfrey entered and occupied Thibodaux, just a few miles below Labadieville, and on the 29th, communication was opened with New Orleans by means of the New Orleans-Opelousas and Greater Western Railroad, which would lead to the Battle of Lafourche Crossing. You can find the commemorative plaque of this battle near Labadieville, Louisiana. If you have any family that fought in this battle, we would love to hear from you in the comments section or visit our website to submit any story you'd like us to cover. You could also check out our merch store where you could get shirts kind of like this. And we couldn't bring you this information without your support on Patreon. And we'd like to thank those who have already contributed and encourage anyone watching this video right now to consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Louisiana Dread. For more Louisiana history, horror, folklore, and culture, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Kyle Crosby, and this is Louisiana Dread Quick History.